Ray Milland. The name alone conjures the image of a dapper gentleman, a talented actor who carved his name into Hollywood's golden age. He delivered unforgettable performances from his Oscar-winning role in The Lost Weekend to the scheming husband in Hitchcock's Dial M for Murder. Milland was an icon, an indispensable part of mid-20th century cinema. But what if we told you that 40 years after his passing, the curtains concealing Ray Milland's life are slowly being drawn back? Long-buried secrets, untold stories, and previously unknown facets of the man are beginning to emerge. Although Ray Milland has rested for 4 decades, this new information promises to provide a deeper, more multifaceted insight into one of Hollywood's greatest stars, revealing that even legends have surprisingly hidden depths. Ray Milland's public life and career. Ray Milland, born Alfred Reginald Jones on January 3, 1907, in Neath Glamorgan, Wales, experienced his childhood during the tumultuous early years of the 20th century in Britain. From a young age, Milland showed a passion for the arts, especially acting, a path not very common for a young man from Wales at that time. He began his career on the London stage in the late 1920s, where he honed his skills and shaped his performing style. His handsome appearance, warm voice, and polite demeanor quickly made him stand out from the crowd. A major turning point came in the early 1930s when Milland decided to move to Hollywood to seek opportunities. Initially, he was cast only in supporting roles in B-movies, but with persistence and quick adaptability, he gradually gained attention. By the mid-1930s, Milland had signed with Paramount Pictures and began to be cast in more substantial roles, especially in romantic comedies and psychological dramas. His career blossomed in the 1940s, a period considered Hollywood's golden age. Throughout his illustrious career, Ray Milland left his mark with a series of classic roles shaping the image of the dapper gentleman on screen. One cannot fail to mention his portrayal of Don Burnham in the film The Lost Weekend, 1945. This was an extraordinary performance, authentically and hauntingly depicting the struggle of an alcoholic writer. This role earned him the Academy Award for Best Actor, a powerful testament to his talent and dedication. The success of The Lost Weekend not only affirmed Milland's status, but also helped change how Hollywood viewed sensitive topics like addiction. Besides The Lost Weekend, Milland also made a strong impression through many other works. In Alfred Hitchcock's Dial M for Murder, 1954, he played Tony Wendice, a scheming, sinister former tennis player who plans to murder his wife for her inheritance. The coldness and calculation in Milland's every gaze and gesture created a classic villain, making audiences both fearful and captivated. Or, in Love Story 1942, he portrayed a romantic, lovelorn figure conquering viewers' hearts with his charm and subtlety. Other films, such as The Major and the Minor, 1942, Kitty, 1945, and The Thief, 1952, also helped solidify his position as a versatile actor capable of embodying various types of roles. Ray Milland's acting style was characterized by its subtlety, inner strength, and ability to convey psychological depth. He was not merely a handsome actor, but an artist capable of delving into the characters' psyches. Milland often used his gaze, a half-smile, or small gestures to convey emotion rather than relying on flamboyant performances. His calmness, sometimes bordering on coldness, made his roles even more mysterious and captivating. Audiences and critics often praised him for his ability to portray complex roles, characters with many internal conflicts, making them vivid and authentic on screen. Ray Milland's public image was always associated with elegance, sophistication, and nobility. He was the epitome of the successful debonair Hollywood man, a true gentleman both on screen and off. Although he was a major star, Milland always seemed to maintain a composed, discreet demeanor, staying away from the unnecessary noise of the entertainment world. This further enhanced his mystery and appeal to the public, making him one of the most beloved and respected figures in cinematic history. Ray Milland's career spanned decades, from the silent film era black and white films to television series. He constantly challenged himself whether as an actor, director, or even producer. However, beyond the stage lights and accolades, were there any hidden corners in Ray Milland's life that the public never knew was the image of the perfect gentleman he built the whole truth? These are the questions that the secrets revealed after 40 years will help us answer. Secrets behind family doors. 40 years have passed since Ray Milland permanently left this world, and it seemed as if every story about him had been told, every hidden corner revealed. Yet time sometimes acts as an antidote for the most deeply buried secrets. The past decades have seen the opening of archives, the emergence of seemingly lost personal documents, and most importantly, the willingness of his closest relatives, who had remained silent for years, to finally share their stories. These are not just rumors, but reliable pieces of information ranging from previously unreleased personal diary entries and private correspondence to the accounts of his now elderly children and close friends who feel that the time has come for the full truth to be acknowledged. One of the most shocking revelations revolves around Ray Milland's complex personal life, a stark contrast to the polite, exemplary public image he projected. Although he had a long-lasting marriage with Muriel Weber, who shared the ups and downs of Hollywood with him, new evidence suggests that Milland did not always strictly adhere to societal moral codes. Letters, allegedly from him to other women, along with ambiguous notes in his diary, have revealed one or even several extramarital affairs during the peak of his career. These were not just fleeting adventures, but sometimes relationships with emotional depth, maintained secretly to protect his public image and rising career. For instance, some recent sources hint at his secret relationship with a rising young actress in the late 1940s. While no specific details have been publicly released, suggestions that Milland used his influence to further this woman's career while maintaining a complex and risky relationship have begun to surface. This information, if fully corroborated, would paint a different picture of the morality and fidelity of one of the greatest stars of that era, showing how pressure and temptation in the entertainment industry can blur the lines of personal life. Internal struggles and behind-the-scenes life. In addition to relational complexities, new secrets delve into the personal challenges and internal struggles Ray Milland faced. Although on screen he often portrayed strong, self-controlled characters, his real private life contained worrying issues. Specifically, there is evidence suggesting that Milland battled alcoholism during a certain period of his life, not limited to his portrayal of Don Burnham in The Lost Weekend. Although he delivered a very convincing performance in this role, it seems that personal experience contributed significantly to that authenticity. Some notes from close friends reveal that after the resounding success of The Lost Weekend, the pressure to maintain his image and career led Milland to confront silent battles with alcohol. Periods when he had to disappear from public view were not only due to busy schedules, but also because of personal efforts to overcome this problem. This completely contradicts the image of the perfect, flawless man Hollywood wanted audiences to believe. Such careful concealment of personal issues was common among stars of that era, when any negative information could ruin a career. Additionally, new information reveals untold behind-the-scenes stories about Milland's career, clarifying his personality and relationships with colleagues. There are records of considerable tension between him and some directors or fellow actors during filming. Milland, as a talented and influential actor, sometimes had strong opinions about roles and their portrayal, leading to disagreements. For instance, in a film project in the late 1950s, there are accounts of him adamantly refusing a scene he deemed inappropriate for the character, causing delays and tension on set. This shows that Milland was not just an obedient actor, but an artist with strong convictions and ego. There are even revelations about secret projects or controversial career decisions he made. For example, some sources suggest that Milland once seriously considered abandoning Hollywood to pursue a stage-directing career in England at a certain point, which the public was unaware of. This was a major decision that could have completely altered his career trajectory, but ultimately did not happen. This information not only enriches Milland's profile, but also shows the internal struggles and difficult choices he faced behind the scenes. These secrets, while potentially shaking Ray Milland's perfect image, offer a more authentic, multifaceted view of the man. We see not just a talented actor, but also an individual with flaws, struggles, and very human hidden depths. These are the elements that make Ray Milland's story more fascinating than ever challenging preconceptions and allowing us to reevaluate his legacy through a new lens. These revelations are not intended to defame, but to complete the portrait of a Hollywood legend who lived a life far more complex than we ever knew. The impact on Ray Milland. The unveiling of secrets about Ray Milland 4 decades later is more than just Hollywood gossip. It has profound implications challenging how we perceive an icon and the film industry of his era. These revelations are not merely sensational news, but catalysts for a reevaluation of his legacy through a more authentic and multifaceted lens. For decades, Ray Milland was known as an ideal archetype, elegant, talented, and seemingly flawless. He embodied the classic Hollywood gentleman, captivating audiences with his poised demeanor and refined acting. However, the new information about his extramarital relationships and silent battle with alcohol paints a far more complex picture. We are compelled to recognize that Ray Milland's public image was a meticulous construct maintained by himself and the Hollywood machinery. Behind that perfect facade was a man with vulnerabilities, temptations, and risky personal choices. This does not diminish his acting talent. On the contrary, it might make him feel more relatable and understandable to modern audiences. A great artist doesn't have to be a saint. They can be individuals full of contradictions. And these very contradictions can contribute to the depth of their art. Knowing about Milland's personal struggles might make his portrayal of Don Burnham in The Lost Weekend even more haunting and authentic than ever, because it was not just acting, but an understanding derived from experience. Rather than overshadowing these secrets can enrich his artistic legacy, transforming him from a mere icon into a figure with profound human depth. Changing our view of Hollywood. Ray Milland's secrets aren't just his story. They're a window into the very nature of Hollywood in its golden age. Back then, image was everything. Studios held absolute power, tightly controlling stars' private lives to maintain an illusion of perfection and public appeal. Contracts often included morality clauses, allowing studios to terminate agreements if an actor's private life was exposed in a way that harmed their image. The fact that Milland and many other stars had to hide their most private aspects, from complex relationships to mental health issues or addictions, shows the immense pressure they endured. It was a world where the spotlight was brilliant, but also full of darkness, where privacy was stripped away in exchange for fame. Behind-the-scenes stories about Milland's disagreements or secret projects also reflect a highly competitive work environment where power was clearly defined and the pressure to succeed was constant. These revelations help us better understand how the entertainment industry operated in the past, where truth was often distorted or concealed for commercial purposes. They also raise questions about the price of fame and the heavy burden stars carried. A richer legacy. In today's digital age of transparency, stories about deceased icons are often dissected and reevaluated. Ray Milland's legacy, instead of being destroyed, can actually be viewed more completely. Knowing about his human aspects doesn't diminish the value of the classic works he created. On the contrary, it might encourage a new generation of viewers to explore his career not just for his wonderful performances, but also for the complex story behind the glamour. These secrets aren't a final judgment, but an invitation to reevaluate an artist's stature from a broader perspective. We can appreciate his talent on screen while better understanding the personal challenges he faced. Milland's legacy is now not just the films he starred in, but also a story that reminds us of human complexity, the nature of fame, and how time can reveal buried truths. It reinforces the belief that no one is perfect, and sometimes it's precisely our imperfections that make us more interesting and memorable. Thanks to these revelations, Ray Milland's legacy is now richer. It's not just a collection of classic films, but also the story of a real person with ups and downs, successes, and hidden depths. It reminds us that even the most glamorized legends carry their own secrets, and sometimes discovering those secrets helps us better understand their humanity and complexity. Ultimately, the story of Ray Milland, a star who passed away 40 years ago, but whose secrets continue to live on, is proof that the spotlight may be brilliant, but the hidden shadows within each person are what truly make a life memorable and captivating. Ray Milland's story is just one of countless untold tales about Hollywood legends. What do you think about these revelations? Do they change your view of him? Share your thoughts in the comments below and join us in exploring more fascinating hidden corners of cinematic history by clicking subscribe.